saw Bill. I thought, maybe I'm crazy. Who are all these people? They must be related to a family. I don't know these people. Okay.
Sarah.
I could have sworn I saw one of the Bills, yeah. Yeah, we have a little time. Maybe they went to the bathroom?
You're hearing a melody right now and the beautiful instruments playing along. It's a new song we just introduced a week or two ago. All you need to know right now is lie, lie, lie. It's a simple melody sung over and over again, so just try it out. It's Shabbat, it's time to let go. It goes like this. Ya la lie,
Lie, lie, lie.
ya
Lie,
la
lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
That's the whole thing.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Yeah, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Matov u'manai shevet achim yachad lai 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 lai. Lie, 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 lie.
Our teacher, Elie Wiesel, writes, remember Sartre's phrase, in love, one and one are one. For us as contemporary Jews, 1 and 1 are 6 million. Though it will never add up, in the face of unfathomable devastation, a darkness that eclipsed 1/3 of the world's Jews. What do? What we've always done. We refuse to despair. We remember. We kindle life. I call up generations of survivors' families, those who know the Shoah directly, to join me and the cantor and the bima as we kindle these yellow candles of remembrance. If you have the handout, will be on this page.
All right, the first 6 people, as you light, you're going to do the reading. So it doesn't matter which 6 you are. The first 6 people are going to do the reading. Just read it in the mic, okay? Read it in the mic, okay? You all right? Okay.
We kindle this light in memory of the helpless infants, children who were cut down like young trees before their time.
Yizkor, we are not forgotten. Just pass that candle on.
We kindle this light in memory of all the mothers who died with their children in their arms.
Yizkor, you are not forgotten.
We kindle this light in memory of all the teachers, the rabbis, scholars, and thinkers, those who were first to be taken.
Yizkor, you are not forgotten.
We kindle this light in the memory of the martyrs whose lives were given so that others might live.
Yizkor, you are not forgotten.
We
Kindle this light in the memory of the resistors who dedicated their lives to fighting the inhumanity and the terror. Yes, sir. Not forgotten.
We kindle this light in memory of all who never lost hope, who refused to despair, though darkness surrounded them.
Yizkor, you are not forgotten. Marceline, come on this side. Shelo yigamer le'olam, ha'chol ve'hayam, v'yishru shel ha'mayim, rak ha'shamayim, tfilat ha'adam, ha'chol hayam, v'yishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam. There are many kinds of light. Shabbat is a shelter that reminds us, even in the midst of a crazy world, we can find light that transcends the darkness. There's plenty of darkness in the world today, but right here, right now, there is light which brings hope and maybe even a little peace, and certainly a couple bat mitzvahs. And so we call up our B'nai Mitzvah families to kindle these lights
Hudson
of
and
Shabbat.
Sadie, bring up your moms. Come on. Turn now to page 123 in your prayer books, which you can find right under your seat. And we rise together for Kiddush. Okay, you're going to take that. Hudson, you take this. You take this. Hold on a second. We're all going to sit together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim
Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai
Shemo.
Mekadesh
HaShabbat.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Okay, you're gonna put it right down over there. Thank you. Please take a seat. So we turn now to Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming in Shabbat with music, with song, with psalms of praise. We begin on page 128 with the words of Yedid Nefesh. Page 131, bottom paragraph. Yisrachu hashamayim, v'tagel tagel haaretz. Yisrachu hashamayim, v'tagel tagel haaretz. Yiram hayamuno, Yiram hayamuno, Yiram miracle of Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat Lechadodi. Imagining standing at the doors at the mountaintop, watching the sun come down and greeting the Sabbath bride. On that last paragraph, we're going to get up and we're going to turn around and face those doors as we welcome her in. Lechadodi likrat kala kenei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat lechuvanecha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem mesucha zov ma'aseh b'machshavat tefila lechadodi likrat kala lenei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kala lenei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, ki ba'orech u'mi'ori. Uri, shiraberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nikra, lechadodi, likrat kala, lenei Shabbat nekabela, lechadodi, likrat kala, lenei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha uv'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala echadodi likrat kala lenei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kala lenei Shabbat nekabela.
Yeah, why not? This is the very important part of prayer. It's a sacred word. It's called schmoozing. Very, very important. And in fact, it's compelled by the moment, which actually sets the tone for this wonderful Edwin Markham. Edwin Markham was the poet laureate of Oregon, I found out, and an educator in the late 19th, early 20th century. And he wrote a piece you probably heard, but it's really the call of Baruch Hu that's the challenge for us all. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout, But love and I had the will to win. We drew a circle that took him in. The Baruch Hu calls us to understand it's a community of prayer. All the people who are here, the thousands out there on YouTube or whatever they are, but also the people who aren't here, who are joining you in solidarity of spirit. So we rise in stature or in spirit to that call on page 146.
Join me on the bottom of page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Join me atop page 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malto, Le'olam Vaed. Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך לביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. Michael Waltz's words on the top of 157 get us through that sea to the shore of freedom. And they hold the key. Join me. Standing on the parted shores of history,
Don't believe what we
were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching We're about to take that minute or two or three for what's called silent prayer, but that's really not silent. It's another way to kindle light, but it's not a light that comes from outside, it comes from within. It happens when we hush the world, when we try to shut out all the stuff, and we actually hear the voice speaking to us inside. We all have the voice, it's there. We just drowned it out most of the time with all the distractions of life. So this is your chance. It may be your inner conscience or the Holy One of Being. You just never know. Page 164, we rise. so many struggle in this world against sickness of the body, against struggles and stress, against stuff going on inside, against relationships that just are not right. And so healing happens in all kinds of ways. We rise together as one congregation. If you want to be connected, yeah, now we should rise. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Now's the time to think about those people in your lives who are really in need of that healing. Maybe very close to you, maybe you. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers bring strength and healing to those who struggle so against sickness, those who long to be healed. We especially call to mind at this moment of prayer for healing Jody Ritter, Barry Fenner, Julianne Edmond, Paul Millman, Elliot Pulwich, Jeannie Gourmet, Ray and Marvin Weiss, Rabbi Fred Green, Nancy Hanley, Neil Borden, Esther Schraga, Marlo Wiggins, Carol Sladkis, Dick Stone, Harriet Lipton, Hannah Stampleman, Enid Elton, Bonnie Davis, Lori Weinberg, Stanley Tereski, Bob Glassman, Marty Feldner, Andy Rosenthal, Sandy Warshaw, Avraham Yochanan Dov Lesser, Louis Siegel, Nate Moskowitz, Ari Fox, Keith Schoen, June Foreman, Paul Wiggins, Jody Kahn, Joseph Spinelli, Susie Wolfson, Antonia and Alita Chipola, Pat Ryan, Harriet Katz, Sam Phillip, Jerry Gallner, Ian Spear, Norton Blumberg, Terry Rossman, Julie Ross, Greg Kellner, Scott Siegel, Daniel Foley, George Siminoff, Megan Kearney Bailey, Jerry Rubin, Tevya Ben Fremahenka, Miriam Siegel, Daniel Zimmerman, Aaron Serkman, Tyler Grad, Karen Levine, Joanne Tobin, and Barbara Schiff. Anyone here add a name in hopes of prayer for healing?
Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Sheberach Imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Verachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, Misheberach Imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Verachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer. 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 And bless us as well.
Amen. Rather than sit down, turn to page 364 so we can greet the Torah.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei
בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה, ואני אתנשא Here's the beginning of the portion. Let's see. Virachatsu. That's it. Oops. A little bit of Torah, and then we'll learn a little Torah. Very appropriate for this post-Yom HaShoah, where we're thinking about remembrance. It's so nice to have the Hirshhorn, Zabo, extended mishpacha, and generations here, all the way from Vermont, right? Which is so cool. And so we celebrate by having our Aliyah to be our Ofra. Come on up. Come on up. All right. We are right here. All right. All right. Put your hand right here, both of you guys. Okay, beautiful. Whenever you're ready, starts right here, right here.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamor Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bahar Banu Michol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe Acharei Mot Shnei Bnei Aharon Bekarvatam Lifnei Adonai Vayamutu. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Daber El Aharon Achicha Ve'al Yavo Bechol Eit El HaKodesh Mi Beit LaParochet El Pnei HaKaporet Asher Al Ha'aron Ve'lo Yamut. Ki Ve'anan Eira'eh Al HaKaporet Bezot Yavo Aharon El HaKodesh Befar Ben Bakar Lechatat Ve'ayil Le'olah.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'hayei Olam Nata B'tohenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. No, keep your hands right there. Keep your hands right there. My hand's going right there. There you go. You're good. Mi Sheberach Avotenu Avram Yitzchak V'Yaakov V'Imotenu Saraf Karachel V'Leah. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers before us under the chuppah, the canopy of life commitment, bless this bride and this groom, Shoshana Hirshhorn, Matthew Zabo, who a month from today? Yeah. A month from today will stand under their chuppah, forever united in marriage. God guide them in goodness along life's journey, so they may walk hand in hand as they are every day truly best of friends. Let them face the future as they have these past 4 years together, hearts intertwined. As they are a perfect complement one to another, the type A planner and the go-with-the-flow guy in agreement, the tidy organizer and the not-so-neat maker of piles, the constant questioner and the man with the answers. So may they continue to bring balance to one another as life's twists and turns unfold on the road. Help this wonderful couple always be there for each other, to lend support and care, to bring out the best, to celebrate life laughing every day. Bless Matt and Shoshana, Holy One, someday with the gift of family, so that they may know the indescribable joy of nurturing in their children the wonderful values that their beautiful families have implanted within them. An affirmation of witnessing a kid of this congregation and a close circle friend group of my son Gabe, seeing him celebrating the radiant life love he has found, our wish for you both is this: may you know the gift you have given to your families, to this congregational family, and to all whose lives your love will touch. So may your love ever remain, Shoshana and Matt, in health and wholeness, and with God's blessings, a sacred gift you share with one another, a lifetime of a love-filled marriage which sparks your hearts and brings you boundless joy every single day. Amen.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yehi lanu, yehi lanu, yehi lanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehi lanu, yehi lanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehi lanu, yehi lanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehi lanu, yehi lanu, ulecho Yisrael.
Mazel. Just a rehearsal. We do these things. We do these things. You know, can we call up all the, all the parents and grandparents to like dress Torah, lift Torah, do whatever you want, so we can put Torah away? Is that okay? The Zabos, the Herschelins, whoever wants to come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Who's feeling strong? Don't step in the candy. It's all about leverage. Push down, pull up. Beautiful.
V'zot Torah shesam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. La 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 la.
Oh my God. Don't worry. It's okay. Nothing like Halloween on the Bema. You know what I'm saying? And so we're gonna do if you have this sheet, which isn't as big as this, your sheet on the other side of the sheet, there's a little Torah. We're not gonna do it all because I know people are hungry and they have places to go, probably going to another service after this. But I can't resist because of the connection to Shoah. And tomorrow night, the Vienna Jewish Choir, 45 voices strong, plus another, 40, Trace? 45. So there'll be 90 voices singing here tomorrow night. And their amazing performance is about stories and songs of the Shoah and about memory. But so I couldn't resist what's going on in Torah this week. This is the scapegoat. And it's really a moment in Torah that got turned upside down and turned against us. I happen to know that it's Minna Immerman's 39th birthday today. Where's Minna? Minna? Can you be my reader? Will you be my reader? Yes, English. Oh my goodness. You go to the Bema, you can take off your mask if you're on the Bema. I'm going to go over here, and that way you can remember it. So if you just look at the top text, right? The Torah text tells us that there's this goat ritual that is what happens on the holiest day of the year in ancient Israel. It just shows you how ancient Israel really is, and that we, of course, borrowed practices from other peoples. Because this is certainly not alone to us. We know that in ancient Canaanite religion, there is a similar rite. What we did, however, was we used one of the goats, 2 identical goats, and the high priest puts hands on the goats. One of them gets sacrificed to the Holy One. The other one is the high priest places hands upon, and all of the sins of the people are transferred to the goat. The goat goes out to Azazel, and thus William Tyndale tells us this is the scapegoat. This is not a practice that Reformed Jews in their classical sense liked, nor wanted to acknowledge. Suffice it to say, the great Rabbi Gunther Plaut, the Plaut Commentary of Torah, he just a taste of what they felt about this. Go ahead, give us the Gunther Plaut minute.
The most embarrassing feature of the ancient ritual is sending the scapegoat to Azazel. The latter was probably a demonic being residing in the desert whose abode was a place of impurity. The more responsible Jewish teachers avoided the mythological notion. The term scapegoat was apparently coined by the first great English Bible translator, William Tyndale, and thereafter came to be used for a person or object to which the guilt of the community was formally transferred and removed. In common usage today, a scapegoat is someone whom people blame for their own misfortunes and even their faults and sins.
Of course, we don't have to look far to know historically who a classic scapegoat is. It's us. But not just us, because the practice is alive and well today. We see it all across the world. We certainly see it in America. It's a common sport to put blame on another peoplehood, another group, another ethnicity, as if they're responsible for what happens to you, all the ills that befall you. It is sad, and it is exactly the opposite of what Torah intended. Mark Gary was the vice chancellor at JTS for almost 2 decades. He says Tyndale in the first paragraph, same thing. And you see where it says, as the renowned scholar of the Holocaust, Deborah Lipstadt? Yeah. In the middle of the top paragraph.
As the renowned scholar of the Holocaust,
Deborah Lipstadt
points out in her book, Anti-Semitism Here and Now, political leaders on 2 continents have found it expedient to blame our uncertain economic conditions on, quote, international banks or globalists with names like Soros, Yellen, and Blankfein. In France, one can hear that the failings of capitalism and the control of the global economy somehow lie in the hands of the Jews. The political utility of scapegoating the Jews is the fallout of prolonged political and economic instability. It's not new, but it is a far cry from the essential concept underlying the Yom Kippur ritual. In fact, Maimonides, in his Guide for the Perplexed, utterly rejects the notion that one can transfer responsibility for our failings to someone else.
Yeah, so Maimonides actually is going to say, there's no doubt sins cannot be carried like a burden and taken off the shoulder of one being and laid of that of another. Maimonides, the ultra-rationalist, the philosopher, the neo-Aristotelian philosopher, the greatest law codifier of all time, says, this is not really, it's a symbolic, it's metaphor. You can't really put your sins on another being, whether it's an animal or anything else. So what are we doing? Last paragraph, Minna.
The
scapegoating, yeah.
Inherent in modern anti-Semitism traps us in the past, seeking to shift responsibility for personal and political failings rather than confront the complex reality we face and seek meaningful solutions. The scapegoating of Leviticus is the exact opposite. It is meant to teach us through ritual that we must face the future freed of the shackles of our past sins, but always mindful that responsibility for our present actions and the type of society we live in lies with us. There is no escape from that responsibility.
So all of us are guilty of othering, of looking at a person and judging her from the outside, based on what she's wearing or how she looks or how she talks, based on where she comes from, or where he was born. We all other. It's a very difficult thing not to do. However, this day and weekend of all times, we have to know, since we've been made the other, we know what it feels like to be the stranger in a strange land. We have to work very hard to counter that. There's no better teacher than our teacher and mine, Professor Wiesel, to help us understand what should our response be to scapegoating, to othering. Minna, give us Wiesel.
Kafka wrote, "I am a cage in search of a bird." What did he mean? He recognized his own human desire to impose upon, to define the other. Yet we remember what Kierkegaard wrote as well. "Once you label me, you negate me." Kafka's words remind us that we must not give in to the impulse to cage others. We must instead guard the otherness of the other. When you encounter the other, you are faced with a choice, to listen or not. I hope you listen, really listen, not to find the other's weakness, but to find his strength.
This is unique. Professor Wiesel would teach us. I was a student of Wiesel from 1987, what am I talking about? From 1977 to 1981. I got to be Wiesel's TA. I met with him once a week. Professor Wiesel loved strangers. And he taught us in class that, in fact, back in where he came from, in Siget, everybody would fight over a stranger in town to have them at their Shabbos table. Because if you had a stranger, as Wiesel taught us, that person had a secret, your secret, that he might tell you. That person held the key to your understanding yourself better. There was something mysterious about the stranger, because any stranger could be Elijah the prophet in disguise. It was a completely different understanding. So Berger, who's going to be here actually May 11th, speaking on moral leadership in this sanctuary, Rabbi Berger's coming back. We're very excited. Berger, who was Wiesel's PhD student, not just a master's degree student, and worked with him for 7 years, writes something I think that is really our aim and aspiration in countering scapegoating and othering. It is the otherness of the other that fascinates me, Wiesel wrote. What can I learn from him? What does he see that I cannot? Here's Berger. We each have blind spots. Just as every candle casts its own shadow, only when you place a second candle next to the first do the shadows disappear, illuminated by the other's light. The beginning of dialogue is the knowledge that we can do this for one another. So when you see somebody very different and approach that person, when you disagree with somebody and don't just say, stupid, what a fool, but try to listen, not in order to agree, but to healthfully and in a sane way counter the argument. When you actually talk to somebody and listen to who they are, where they come from, learn their story, you begin to open up. You not only recognize a spark and a light coming from them, but a light of warmth, a sincerity of spirit shines from you. And in that betweenness, God's presence dwells. The challenge is, especially looking at these lights, to see light in every single human being. Because no matter what they look like on the outside, inside, they have that same sacred spark. A take-home for you, direct from Professor Wiesel. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I wanted to give you these Reese's Pieces. I bought them for you.
For my birthday, right? Thank you. Thanks.
Wouldn't you know it, the Aleinu is our challenge prayer that says to us, it's on us to make a difference in the world, to make it better. We rise on page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. נאמר
והיה אדוני
למלך על כל הארץ
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Though her life was cut short far before her time, it seems so appropriate because of her resilient spirit and the diary she left to quote Anne Frank. It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build my hopes on a foundation of confusion, misery, and death. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I hear the approaching thunder. I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet, if I look up and into the heavens, I think that it will all come out right one of these days, that this cruelty will end and that peace will return again. In the meantime, I must hold on to my ideals, for perhaps the day will come when I shall be able to carry them out. We remember those who've left their ideals to us, their spirits still speaking the gifts of their undying love. The Yordzites observed this Shabbat in our congregational family of Robert Scherer, Selma Tillman, Robert Polsky, Donald Fern, Sybil Wofsy Shapiro, Paul Marks, Milton Garin, Simon Kalos, Harold Zimmerman, Frank Bavona, George Korn, N. Helen Friedlander, Jacob Friedlander, Judith Stroll, Bruce Bernstein, Gustavo Weissman, Frank Stavis, Stuart Fishman, Gwen Jacobs, Harold Schwartz, Lowell Herman, Mary Halpern, Harry Potash, Barney Goldberg, Claire Rome, Samuel Brooker, Rhea Lippman, my grandmother, Vina Treback, William Perkel, Rosalind Feinberg, past president of this congregation, Sheldon Turk, Eva Labe, Julius Fine, Henry Gutag, Philip Bosworth, Arthur Hubsch, Sarah Rutstein, Anna Davis, George Prusson, Samuel Goodman, and Sam Levine. Would anyone here add a name in sacred memory? To those names, we link those who've left this world and our lives in the past few weeks in Shloshim. Hanan Rotem, husband of Amira, father of Karine and Neve, grandfather Saba of Evan and Nate, Jade and Justin. Kenneth Sanger, father of David. Marvin Freeman, father of Roseanne, Norman, and Sam. Alon Reamer, dear friend of Gary Rodbell. Robert Levine, friend of Michael Nathan. And just this week, Martin Rosenblatt, husband of Joan, father of Stephen, father-in-law of Lori, grandfather of Jesse, Ryan, and Sean. Justin Greenberg, nephew of Jane Sable Friedman, and Eric Volper, son of Hillary, brother of Mandy, brother-in-law of Sandy, uncle of Ryan and Juliet. The memories of all of them are with us. Their ideals still speak. Their love still remains. Share with me in words of Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. Amad divrach herute v'amlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei maya. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu.
Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be our blessing. Amen. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Martha Steinman. On behalf of the Executive Committee and the Board of Trustees, it is my privilege to wish you Shabbat Shalom, and I'm lucky because I get all this candy. So it's great to see all of you here. You know, it's kind of easy to feel this is a dark time. We're observing the Shoah, we look at the Ukraine, but look at all these people here. And look at Matt and Shoshana, and look at Hudson and Sadie and their families, and we have so much hope. So that is such a wonderful thing, and I'm so glad we could all be here for that. Coming up, we have more happy occasions. Tomorrow night we have the Vienna Choir. Please all be here. It's gonna be incredible. And then next Friday, come back, because we have Shabbat Yisrael, and that's an amazing celebration. And I think you get falafel?
Oh, a whole Israeli dinner.
A whole Israeli dinner, courtesy of Larchmont Temple. So come have that. That's simply amazing. Mazel tov to Sadie and Hudson and your families. We're so proud of you. We can't wait for you to become the newest adult members of our community. Any of you who haven't read their drashes yet, go online and read them, because in addition to the wonderful teaching we had tonight, you'll learn a lot more. And with that, I wish you Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We rise together for our closing song, praying for a more peaceful world, knowing that we need a lot of love and a lot of compassion to make that happen. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lailai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lailai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lailai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai. I will build this world from love. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world, world from love, yadadai, 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 then God will build this world. Then God will build this world from love, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Shabbat Shalom.